Information discussed on Talkin Money with Jeff Tarbell is believed to be from reliable sources. However, no responsibility is assumed for inaccuracies. No statement made on this broadcast should be construed as a specific recommendation of a particular investment product. Views expressed are those of the speakers and do not necessarily represent those of CBS Radio. Use only as directed.
Smiles, everyone. Smiles. And prepare yourself for...
Show me the money!
Ladies and gentlemen, the radio broadcast experience designed to keep your wallet in top condition. It's Talkin Money with Jeff Tarbell.
Talkin Money. Talkin Money. More money, more money, more money.
And now entering the studio, your guru for fiscal fitness, Jeff Tarbell.
Right. How you doing? You hear me over there, Chris?
I do.
You do? Sorry about that. This must be the funky chair because I can barely hear myself in my right ear and I cannot hear myself in my left ear at all. So this must be like the news desk where you can hear yourself and nobody else. How are you doing? I am in the guest chair today. We're doing a little training here, a little on-site training. Part of the CBS Radio hire a guy off the street program that we're implementing here quickly. That's how Chris got hired. But you're back on the street now. We got a lot of things going on, and glad to be back. Took a little hiatus last weekend, and went up to the Great White North. We got any Bryan Adams or any Rush we can play there?
I think we can find some.
You can find some? Okay. So, yes, everybody looks just like Geddy Lee or Pam Anderson. Just so you want to know, if you're going to Canada, you haven't been there before, they look exactly like that, everybody. And actually had not been up to the Whistler area ever. And it's part of my continuing obligation to try to find some snow for myself, and it is getting costly and timely to do that. But hopefully that'll turn around here pretty quick for us as well. I guess the best way to describe driving up to Whistler, Canada would be think about driving up Highway 50 to Tahoe, but along the left-hand side of your road the whole way up. There you go. This song was playing at all times. Oh, by the way, if you're a hockey fan and you're in Canada, do not vote for any U.S. hockey team, because they will, in fact, take you out back and beat the crap out of you right on the spot. This is a true story. I went to a sports bar there in town. Now, if you go to a sports bar here in the United States, and there's 5 TVs that are on, 4 of them are in the NFL, and 1 of them is something else. But in Canada, there was 4 big screen TVs and 1 little one. 4 of them had 4 different local hockey, pro hockey on, and then little one above the bar had the NFL playoff game going on, and nobody was watching that one. And I tried to root for the Red Wings, Colin, but I was threatened severely with a beating, so I kept it to myself. I shut it down. You could talk. Your microphone's on there.
You didn't wear it to the your jersey?
I didn't wear my jersey, no.
And venture into the men's restroom by yourself?
No, I did not venture into the men's restroom by myself, which is a different story, nor did I wear my Red Wings jersey. I was unaware that a Red Wings game was going to pop up. But anyway, I digress. So if you're driving up to the Whistler area, it is much like driving Highway 50, but imagine the ocean on your left-hand side, your left-hand window the whole way up. It's a gorgeous area. Had a good time. So maybe we'll get some snow here, and I won't have to travel so dang far to do that again. I thoroughly love being groped in the Seattle airport because I left my wallet in my back pocket, which made me instantly a threat to society and a menace to society, so I had to go through the full pat-down, which was fun. He was a gentle lover, and he tipped me $20, so that was good.
And he was wearing his rubber gloves, I assume.
He was in full rubber gear. Yeah, top to bottom with the helmet on. It was fantastic. So enough about my trips. How are you doing? A lot of things going on. Good news, bad news. Mostly pretty decent news, I guess. A little bit of shock if you're in the mortgage world. We'll talk about that as well. We're starting to see, this is probably the first week we are seeing the influence of your payroll tax deduction is now milking its way down and out of your wallet. So if you are a W-2 employee and you're subject to, I guess that was the Social Security portion of the deduction, right? The FICA or FOCO or something in there.
Yeah, the FICA. It's 2% less than you were paying in 2010. Okay.
So that went down last year, and then they extended it for 2 months. You recall that? Remember all the big. I don't need to introduce Colin. Everybody knows who Colin Grail is? Hi.
I'm nameless today.
You're nameless. He's here. He's here in a strictly observatory role only. And should we allow him to talk, he can talk. But Colin Grail is here. He's going to be hosting Catching next week for me as I travel again a little bit. But anyway, the big discussion before the holidays: should we extend payroll tax deduction 2 more months? Right? This is not a lifetime extension. This is not a year extension. This is a 60-day extension of payroll taxes deductions. And one of the ways that they decided to finance that deduction was through brand new home mortgages, conventional and FHA. And in the conventional world, it's called a G fee or a guarantee fee through Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, which doesn't sound like a lot. I mean, you figure, okay, they're going to have to tack on a little fee.
I missed that headline somewhere. I didn't see that headline.
Yeah, well, that was buried under the, this is how we're getting our money back out of it. So if you recall, 2 things that came up last year, which were interesting. One of do you recall the headline, we need to get rid of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac? Do you remember seeing those headlines?
I do.
Yeah. So that isn't going to happen now. And the reason being is that we have to use Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac as a collection agency to collect 10 years worth of repayment. So for a 2-month benefit, we are going to pay for the next 10 years, if you're financing a home, the guarantee fees. And let me tell you what that means. If your loan's already closed, it doesn't mean anything to you, so you're lucky. If your loan is in process and it doesn't close on time for any reason, and you have to extend that loan, which means basically you're pushing out your need for the money, you're going to be subject to these new fees. And what we're starting to see now, Wells Fargo announced this week, they're already implementing it, and in fact, every bank is implementing it. This is not unique to anybody, it's everybody. But you take an example of a client I had yesterday. $400,000 loan. It's if they had to extend, which fortunately we were able to get it closed, but if they had to extend, it would have been 40 basis points. Okay, quick math. If you're not in the industry, 40 basis points is $1,600. Now, I can pretty much assure you that particular borrower did not get a $1,600 Social Security tax deduction. So we are, in fact, financing it through the home mortgage process. The 2-month, remember, if they extend it again, that's going to be another fee is going to have to come out of somewhere. So that probably won't happen. So anyway, if you're starting to see that, or you're getting that call, or you're that notice, that's what's going on. You are financing a payroll tax deduction for 2 months through Fannie and Freddie.
So if the 2-month deduction ends, does the mortgage tax end?
No. Because what they did is think about it. What they did is they took a 2-month tab for everybody across the nation, whoever would fall in that category, and so they were taking a big giant pool of money, and they're financing over a smaller group that's financing it. So they had to do it for a 10-year window. So the 2-month is going to end anyway. This is the 10-year bill was just for the 2-month extension. Does that give you any indication how much money? I mean, we're talking about. It's a large amount of money, and all we've done, right? We haven't reduced tax. We reduced our tax. We reduced our withholding. We haven't cut any expenses anywhere. So all we've done is we've deferred putting money into a retirement fund, Social Security, which is already way, way upside down, if not bankrupt, and we've just further hampered it. So I'm all for tax cuts, obviously. If there comes along with like, okay, we decided we cut some spending, and so we were able to pass along some tax cuts. But we didn't do that. What we did is we passed along a tax cut, and we financed that on the back. So this is only part of it. This is the Fannie and Freddie bill is not the only tax they put in place. It's just one of them. Just one of them. But it's going to be a fairly big dollar amount. So the good news is this. For those of you that are coming in for a new mortgage and don't already have your rate locked, you won't know the difference anyway. The pricing will be meshed into your lock. Rates are at 60-plus year lows. You're probably not going to notice it. But for someone who already had their terms and their pricing and their rates and their costs all figured out and locked in, and now they have to extend because for whatever reason, it doesn't matter whether you were right, they were right, you were wrong. If you're going to have to extend those locks, those new fees are going to come into place. So don't be shocked because I warned you. So
it's like a gas tax. Once it's in there, nobody knows the difference.
The new buyers won't know the difference.
It's just this window of people that are on the cusp.
Right.
And then it'll just be a permanent part of your pricing that whatever rate you're paying, it could have been 0.4% less.
Exactly. In terms of cost. And now one of the things that they're talking about doing under this HARP 2.0 program, which is really going to go into effect probably right around March 1st, and we'll talk about this more after the break, but one of the hopes is that in order to spur activity, although I think it's a moot point now, is they were going to try to bring down some of these G fees, these guarantee fees, bring them down a little bit to make the pricing more attractive. But anything they brought down, they just lost back to the tax increase. So it's going to be probably a wash. The news is, you look at rates this week, mortgages, I mean, I don't know. They certainly in the last 6 months haven't been any lower. They've been phenomenal. That isn't the hindrance to anything. Right now it's all about equity. It's about values. It's about what are we going to do for people who want to keep their houses but don't and can't refinance under a normal circumstance. The Fed came out this week with some interesting comments. We'll talk about that as well. And we got to go get a quick break in here and a quiz question too. So let's do all of that. Numbers here in the studio, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. You can text me at 441140. What is that?
Brian Adams.
Oh, it's Brian. Okay, sorry. I'm only hearing in one ear here. It's much like our phone screener. I can only hear out of my right ear, and I only hear what I want to hear. So that's how that goes. Hey, here's my first quiz question. We'll get off to a little football day today, right? Niners and Saints this afternoon, 1-ish, 1:30-ish. Who you taking?
I got the Saints.
You got the Saints? Who you taking?
Saints, because that makes my Lions number 2.
I'm taking the Niners. Okay, here's our quiz questions. If you want to get crack a few of these and get moving on them, you got a few hours to get lubed up there. The number 1 selling beer in the United States. You can't just give me the manufacturer. You have to give me the actual beer. Is which beer? 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140, or you can text me at 441140. Is our text machine working there? Yeah? Okay. I may have to switch over to the other seat. I can't hear myself here. So we'll take a quick break. My name is Jeff Tarbell. This is Talkin Money on a Saturday morning. 339-1140, or you can text us at 441140. We'll be right back.